And the big breaking story at this hour, there is relief for the BJP's Tajinder Bagga. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has stayed his arrest till the 10th of May and directed the Punjab government not to take any action against him until the next hearing. The BJP leader Tajinder Bagga had moved the Punjab and Haryana High Court against his arrest warrant earlier in the day. In a day of fast-paced developments in Punjab, Punjab's Mohali Court issued an arrest warrant against a non-bailable arrest warrant against the BJP's Tajinder Bagga, instructed the police to arrest him and produce him before court. Let's go across to my colleague Ghazali, who's monitoring the story. So Ghazali, lots of midnight developments. Bring us up to date. What happened in this hearing?
See, Tajinder Bagga's counsel, he said in his application that Bagga, the only intent of the prosecution is to arrest him and prejudice his liberties and to satisfy its political masters. So the Bagga's lawyer was said in the court that this entire FIR is not will not stand any legal scrutiny because it has been done due to political vindictiveness, and that the registration of FIR was to wreak vengeance through politically motivated criminal investigation by using the state machinery for the oblique motive of the political gain. So basically, the Bagga's lawyer said in the court in the hearing today that this entire case is politically motivated and it is for political vengeance, since Bagga had made statements or remarks against Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And that is why the Punjab and Haryana High Court directed the state government not to take any coercive action against Mr. Bagga till the next date of hearing. And this is the stay on the arrest has been there, or as per the court order, it is still May 10th.
And Ghazali, what did the other side, what is the opposite side, the lawyer, what did they have to say?
The opposite side went ahead with the same plea which they had filed in the lower court, in the Mohali district court, after which the arrest warrant was issued, that Mr. Bagga's statement was there to promote enmity between two groups. It was provocative, and also how the two state police were trying to sort of shield him. So their charge or their argument was also the same, that it is politically motivated, the way state government or the party is trying to shield its spokesperson over all these provocative statements. But the court perhaps just went by the argument or was convinced by Bagga's lawyer or Mr. Anil Mehta, who was representing him, and gave a much sought relief for Bagga for no arrest till 10th of May.
All right, so Tajinder Bagga had sought a stay on his arrest warrants on 12 counts. So Ghazali, this really is a shot in the arm for Tajinder Bagga of the BJP.
Certainly a big relief, because in the last 72 hours, if you see the incidents which have unfolded, first an FIR was registered in the first week of April, then multiple notices were served to Mr. Bagga to join the investigation. He had even approached the High Court back then when the case was registered against him, and even then the police was asked to follow proper procedure to serve him the notice. Now, after serving notice, since Mr. Bagga didn't join the investigation, the Punjab police said that they were in their duty, they were within their legal rights to go and arrest him or to make him join the investigation, and that is why they had gone to Delhi to arrest him after informing Delhi police. But what happened thereafter, the Punjab police has submitted in the lower court that the Delhi police didn't make any Delhi diary report while interstate arrest has to be made. Punjab police has contacted Delhi police, but Delhi police allegedly detained the Punjab police officials who had gone there. And later what happened, when Punjab police was on its way to Mohali district from Delhi with Mr. Tajinder Bagga, Haryana police and Delhi police stopped them from proceeding. His custody was given to Delhi police from Punjab police by the intervention of Haryana police. So both the state police, as per Punjab police, both the state police of Haryana and Delhi colluded and didn't allow the Punjab police to perform their legal duties, after which they filed a habeas corpus plea in the High Court that the 10 people who had gone to arrest Mr. Bagga have gone missing. And later, that hearing, that separate hearing is still going on. That hearing date is on Tuesday. But meanwhile, Punjab police also approached the Mohali district court to procure an arrest warrant for Mr. Bagga, a fresh arrest warrant. And today they managed to get the arrest warrant from Mohali Court. So Mr. Bagga again approached the High Court against this arrest warrant and got relief today.
And Ghazali, just clarify for us the original case, the original charge against him, that when there was an arrest warrant issued for him, was that because of his tweets that were critical of the Delhi AAP chief minister, or was it over tweets that were leading to communal tension?
See, it was not about the FIR was not registered against Mr. Bagga based on any tweet. It was based on a video or a statement which was available on social media, which Mr. Bagga has made against Arvind Kejriwal pertaining to the movie Kashmir Files. That video was made as an evidence, or the complainant in that particular case is an Aam Aadmi Party leader. Based on that video, he had registered a complaint with the Punjab police in Mohali district, and the cyber cell of the Mohali police, they registered a case against Mr. Bagga.
Okay, but this was not the only fast-moving development that we saw in the day. It was a high-paced a day full of political developments. We also had the CBI carrying out searches at the premises of a Punjab Aam Aadmi Party MLA. AAP, of course, saying this is a tit-for-tat raid carried out by the CBI.
It's Aam Aadmi Party, clearly, if you see this entire, as you mentioned, it's a fast-developed, fast-moving case for the last 72 hours. Even today, the CBI has conducted raids on the premises of Aam Aadmi Party MLA, and Aam Aadmi Party clearly says that it's a vindictive approach of the union government led by BJP. So certainly they are blaming it, a political witch hunt. They say that since the Punjab police went after Mr. Bagga, so to shield him, the BJP-led central government is misusing its agencies against their leader.
All right, Mohammad Ghazali reporting on the big breaking story at this hour. Some legal relief for Tajinder Bagga. The Punjab court, the court has directed the Punjab government not to take action against him till his next hearing. The centre has defended the sedition law in the Supreme Court, saying that there is no need to revisit the Kedarnath judgment. In a written submission, the centre told the apex court that the Kedarnath judgment was binding and there was no need to revisit the same. The court is hearing a batch of pleas challenging the constitutional validity of this colonial era law.
Very technical legal grounds on which the centre is defending its stand. One, it is saying that there is already a judgment in the past that has been given by a 5-judge constitutional bench, and they've already examined all the aspects when it comes to the sedition law, especially all the issues with regard to whether any fundamental rights like right to equality or right to life is violated when sedition law is imposed upon someone. And that is why, since all of that examination has already been done, there is no point of reconsidering the entire law again. And what the centre has also added is that they are saying that if there are any instances of abuse of the law, since sedition has often been in the news for misuse of the law, the centre has said if there are any such instances, that does not mean that the law in its entirety should be struck down. What needs to be done is that things like those can be addressed on a case-to-case basis. But the law as a whole is correct, and it should stand in that in the manner it's already there, and it has then requested the Supreme Court to dismiss all of these petitions that have challenged the sedition law.
And days after a rebuke by the Supreme Court, the Delhi police has now made a volte-face to lodge an FIR in a case related to a hate speech in a religious Dharma Sansad organized in December last year. In an affidavit, it says that an FIR has been lodged in this matter after examining the materials. The Delhi police had earlier told the court that they closed the complaint in regards to this alleged hate speech at the Dharma Sansad, saying that after evaluating the video clips, it was found that there was no hate words used against a particular community. Now, in its fresh response, the police says that the links of the speeches made in this complaint and other materials were being analysed afresh.
Pertains to an event that took place in December 2021. This was the Delhi Dharma Sansad, where the Sudarshan News TV chief editor, Mr. Suresh Chavanke, had given a speech against which some petitioners had approached the Supreme Court saying that it was hate speech. The Delhi police, however, had filed an affidavit last month in the Supreme Court saying that they did not find any evidence of hate speech. No calls were made about genocide of Muslims. In fact, that event was being held to save the ethics of the community. However, the Supreme Court, when it heard the matter last month, it reprimanded the Delhi police for the stand it had taken and had asked the Delhi police to file a better affidavit, after which Delhi police have finally done this U-turn where they are saying that they've examined all the evidence, including a video that they found on YouTube, and they've registered an FIR on charges of actions to promote religious enmity, and all the action in this case will be taken as follows.
And Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was in Telangana on a two-day visit. On Friday, he addressed a massive public meeting in Warangal where he discussed farmer suicides and ways to help farmers in distress in what is being called a Warangal declaration. However, with his attack primarily against the ruling regional party, the TRS, it seems clear that the Congress and the TRS will be cutting into each other's votes, which could perhaps be good news for the BJP.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's speech at Warangal was full of promises and an attack primarily targeted at the ruling Telangana Rashtra Samiti. Rahul Gandhi's strategy made it clear that the votes will be divided between the Congress and the TRS.
जिस व्यक्ति ने तेलंगाना से चोरी की है, जिस व्यक्ति ने तेलंगाना के सपने को नष्ट किया है, उसके साथ कांग्रेस पार्टी का कोई समझौता नहीं होगा। वो जानते हैं कि तेलंगाना में उन्हें रिमोट कंट्रोल की जरूरत है। सबूत ये है कि तेलंगाना के चीफ मिनिस्टर जितना भी पैसा चोरी करना चाहते हैं कर सकते हैं, और बीजेपी की सरकार ना उन पे ईडी लगाती है ना सीबीआई लगाती है। और हमें
Rahul Gandhi, who is often targeted for being part of a privileged Gandhi family, attacked KCR's family, saying only they were enjoying the benefits of Telangana.
और आज आप जाइए छत्तीसगढ़ जाइए, ये चीफ मिनिस्टर नहीं है, ये राजा है। मुख्यमंत्री जनता की आवाज को सुनता है, राजा जनता की आवाज को नहीं सुनता है। राजा जो करना चाहता है वो कर डालता है। धान के लिए क्या दाम मिलता है?
What Rahul Gandhi has promised Telangana's farmers includes 2 lakh rupee loan waiver, 15,000 rupees per acre per year to every farmer, 12,000 rupees per annum to landless labourers registered under MNREGA, though it is not clear if this will apply to all Congress-ruled states. Posters and banners lined the city's roads to Chanchalguda jail, where Rahul Gandhi met with 18 NSUI activists jailed for protesting denial of permission for a meeting with students on Usmania University. We are standing outside the central jail, in fact at Chanchalguda in Hyderabad, and that's where Mr. Rahul Gandhi has come to visit some of those NSUI activists. All the Congress leaders have come together to try and make this show count, and therefore some kind of a momentum certainly for a party which otherwise had begun to look quite listless. In Hyderabad with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Welcome back. Now, after nearly 3 weeks, 3 whole weeks after a 25-year-old Vignesh died in police custody in Chennai, heads are beginning to roll. 6 cops have been arrested after post-mortem confirmed injuries. In another embarrassment to the ruling DMK, an under trial arrested for selling illicit liquor died in a sub-jail, and his family too suspects foul play.
6 cops, including a sub-inspector, put behind bars for the alleged murder of this man Vignesh in Chennai last month. A video NDTV cannot independently verify, but which has gone viral, shows Vignesh falling down as police chase and a man in khaki beating him with a baton. The post-mortem report reveals 13 injuries, though the cause of the death is yet to be established.
இது அடிப்படையில் இன்று இந்த வழக்கானது கொலை வழக்காக மாற்றப்பட்டு காவலர் மீது கொலை வழக்கு பதியப்பட்டு விசாரணையினை தொடர்ந்து நடத்திட சிபிசிஐடி போலீசாருக்கு உத்தரவிடப்பட்டுள்ளது என்பது.
Police allege Vignesh was carrying cannabis and threw a knife at them, and that he died after suffering seizures. But rights activists and eyewitnesses say Vignesh was tortured and that the police even paid 1 lakh to the family for the last rites.
We hope there will be more arrests of senior police officers who have all ganged up together and conspired together. If this cannot be a case of conspiracy, what else can be a case of conspiracy?
2 custodial deaths in a month have come as a huge embarrassment to the ruling DMK that celebrates 1 year in office. The case has been transferred to the CBCID. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin says the investigation would be fair. Vignesh's family hopes they would get justice. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
All right, the big international story right now. The Sri Lanka president has declared a state of emergency, giving security forces sweeping powers for the second time in 5 weeks, sweeping powers to deal with the escalating anti-government protests. This after trade unions now staged a nationwide strike on Friday, demanding his resignation over a worsening economic crisis.
Sri Lanka's president has declared a state of emergency for the second time in 5 weeks, giving security forces sweeping powers as a nationwide strike demanding his resignation has brought the country to a standstill. The state of emergency gives powers to security forces to arrest and detain suspects for long periods without judicial supervision. A spokesperson for the president said he invoked the tough laws to ensure public order after shops closed and public transport was halted as unions blamed him for the unprecedented economic crisis. The Rajapaksas are in the line of fire as the public blames them for plunging foreign exchange deficit, high external debt of over $50 billion, rampaging inflation and prices. While India has already given $2.5 billion in support to Sri Lanka, Colombo has gone back to its principal supporter China, asking for a debt rollover like Pakistan. The new emergency declaration comes as thousands of demonstrators remained outside Rajapaksa seafront office, where they have been protesting since the 9th of April. As public resentment against the Rajapaksas for the economic crisis has been mounting by the day, month of blackouts and acute shortages of food, fuel and pharmaceuticals have caused widespread suffering across the island nation of 22 million people. Yet, Gotabaya Rajapaksa insists he will not step down despite escalating demonstrations across Sri Lanka. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.